Hello and welcome back. What have we got here? So this is our new, or my new, Patriot Revolt Heavy. So it's 7.62 by 51 chambered, obviously takes the 308 Winchester cartridge as well. Nice gun. So what we've got to think about here is we're in the UK, okay? We are restricted from using semi-automatic weapons. And this particular gun is something that comes directly from the States in the format that makes this perfect for the UK shooter. AR type platform, you could say, I guess, that this would be an AR-10 clone. However, it is straight pull. What that means is that effectively it's a bolt gun. You can see here we've got the handles that allow us to charge the weapon manually. If I just flick that over, you can see that we've got the two handles there to charge this back manually, effectively making this, as I just said, into a bolt gun. However, because we're restricted, this is perfect, and I love the fact that Patriot Ordnance factory actually produce this particular gun, or they used to produce this particular gun in this format out of the box for people like yourselves, either UK shooters or those in the States, and maybe places like Canada and Australia that kind of require this type of thing, or may require this type of thing. So, a couple of the features of this, as I said, this is the heavy version. There is a light version as well, which is 5.56 and 223. Straight pull with feed assist. We can use this as our assist if we need to. We can push that bolt forward, make it nice and hard, get that cartridge into the chamber. The chamber itself has what Patriot call an E2 dual extraction technology, which is just a couple of small grooves just pushed into or fired into the chamber itself to just help the extraction. Now, it's not going to do much to this gun, or not going to help with this gun too much in fact that we are in a straight pull format, so we are actually charging this manually. But when you consider that this could be piston driven or gas impingement, then that actually helps that extraction nicely, because it forces a little bit of gas out around the case and just makes that extract nice and simply. Barrel, 18.5-inch nitride treated, match grade. I believe it's 1 in 10, and I believe it's got 5R fluting, 5R rifling, I should say. It is a fluted barrel, but yes, 5R rifling in it as well. So it's heavy contour barrel. Tapers very little from the breech through to the end of the barrel, but it does come with its own muzzle brake on there. If you can see that at the end there, nice little muzzle brake, and it works quite well. We've put probably 40 to 50 rounds through this this week, just to get it out on the range really. It was a soaking wet day. You'll see in the video later on that whilst the rain was pouring, it still did a good job, still managed to get 1-inch groups at 100 and 3-inch groups at 300. So it's coming in within 1 MOA, and that's with factory ammo. We still need to reload for this. I am expecting, with a 1 in 10 barrel, to be pushing down some 168 or 175 grain heads, which I think will work extremely well. So a couple of other little features around this particular gun. Out of the box, you can see 14-inch handguard, rail system. I've put a riser on there, which is 20 MOA as well, just to lift up the scope, because it doesn't give us much clearance when we use this straight off. However, Picatinny front, back, and underneath there for a bipod. At the front end, bipod will be changing. Bluth AR stock, completely adjustable, so height and reach, and you can see we've got the buttons there to do that. You get a nice little tool in there as well, so that if you want to move these pillars around anywhere, then you can see we've got the little holes in the back of the stock, and you do get the tool in there to actually do that as well. So that's quite good. That's nice to get out of the box. So let's just check that this gun is actually empty and safe, and then we can have a look at maybe the internals and a couple of the other features within the gun. So I'm just going to wrap this back just to make sure. Yeah, the gun is safe. I'm going to push that forward. So that's how we operate the gun. You just see me do that nice and clearly there. What I want to show you actually is a couple of the little features that actually come with the gun out of the box, things that actually I think make this a really good little, a bit of good technology that Patriot's put into this, a little bit of thought into what they can do with shooters and help the shooters out, particularly with the operation of the gun. Now, typically it's an AR platform, so the tools and the ways that the ergonomics work are the same. So all of the functions on there, all of the controls are the same. So what I'd like to point out here is underneath the trigger there, we'll come back to the trigger in a second, there's a little button. So this is the bolt hold open device. So instead of having a battery assist lever, a bad lever, let's say, then you can use this. So when we are in to charge and we want to hold that back, we can just flick the little switch, and that holds open the bolt face itself. So we can see that's nice and simple. The other feature with this as well is typically let me just flick this over. An AR platform is the same on my AR-15 and most AR-15s. You can release the bolt using the switch. So click the button, bolt goes forward. Now that's fine. However, on the Patriot, it is ambidextrous. And that's to say that there is a button just there. So we can release the bolt by simply flicking that forward with our trigger finger. So again, ambidextrous controls from the right hand side, we can push that bolt forward nice and simply. You can see out of the box as well, it comes with K&S anti-warp pins, which is another nice feature. Apart from that, all the other controls are as you would expect them on an AR platform. So safety device, etc. Drop the mag, exactly the same as a normal AR platform. And in terms of magazines, the system takes or uses the Magpul system. So this is a Gen 3 mag. We'll be getting a few more of these. It comes with 110 round magazine when you buy the gun. Okay. So let's have a very quick look at the bolt itself, just to show you what that looks like, how that kind of works. Now, one of the things here when we were actually dropping the gun, disassembling the gun, that there's a little feature that I might have to just sort out is the fact that we've got the two takedown pins in the same place you would expect on any AR platform. Okay, so we've got the pin there on the right to just rack that open, pull the back off, but the front one is pinned. We can't actually take this out, and this is a pin set that comes from Patriot, so it's kind of lodged in there. Now, I will be changing this at some point. I will get this taken off and get a normal set of normal set of takedown pins for an AR-10 that will fit this fine. But at the moment, I can't disassemble this in the same way that I would my AR-15. However, opening this up, pretty simple. We can see the bolt system there. Let's just get that out and move that off to one side very quickly, so we can show you the bolt itself. And this is how Patriot have built this particular bolt set. You can see that it has markings on there as you would expect for forward assist, and that's because they do use this in their A10 gas impingement platforms as well that do have a normal charging handle. However, in this case, for the straight pull version, we can simply disassemble that or take off that particular charging handle piece. Now, clever little feature here, if you see fairly clearly there, hopefully, that you get tools within this. So there's a socket inside that part of the handle, and if I flick this over, then we do have another kind of tool in that part of the handle as well. So it comes with its own little tool set effectively. The bolt itself, yeah, it's a chunky bit of kit, but it's not as large as a normal AR-10 bolt. Nice finish on it. It's treated. It's all one piece, and a couple of other little features in with this that make this unusual. You can see that obviously we've got the groove there to put the handle in, the charging handle. It does disassemble in much the same way an AR-15 bolt or an AR-10 bolt would come apart, but it has a roller cam up the top here, so we can push this in and out, and you'll see straight away that unlike other bolts like this, this is spring fed, so it automatically returns the head, the bolt head itself, the 308 bolt head, to the front, which I think is a really good feature, and why that's not in all AR-15 systems just amazes me, because it's just an easy piece of technology, and it's just a spring at the back there that forces that forward. Nice 308 bolt head, as you can see. Lovely bit of kit, nice and shiny at the moment. I'm sure that's going to wear in once I start to get lots of rounds down. But that's the bolt assembly there for this particular rifle. I think that's a good bit of kit. So assembling it, just do that in reverse, pop that in, push it down, and then all we need to do, just the same way we would with an AR-15, except instead of forcing the bolt forward there to get the bolt face out, don't need to do this because we've got the spring inside there anyway. So it's just a case of pushing that back in, holding that back, and dropping it down. Now, one other nice little feature about this is the accurizing system within it. Now, typically on an AR-15, I know I had to put an accurizing wedge in to my CMMG because it had a little bit of a wobble, and fine, yes, you can get around that. You can put those wedges at the back there that just hold that nice and tight. What Patriot have done, if you can see that, right at the bottom there is two little plastic screws, if you like, that you just screw up to hold this tight, or you can just leave them down. But I mean, there is very little wobble out of the box with this anyway, but you can just move these up and down, and that just gives you that nice tight meeting of the two pieces of the upper and lower itself, and just push that back through. So now the only shake you can hear is the actual bolt handle. There's a little bit of give in that, but apart from that, everything else is nice and tight. So the last thing here with this is probably just to very quickly explain that the stock is fully adjustable, as I've mentioned, and that you can rack this back whilst your face is in the cheek weld and you are in the aim. So again, one of the first comments I got when I took this to the range was, yes, great, when you're down, you're going to have to physically lift your head up from the aiming position, put it back down, you know, every time you cock. That's not the case, actually. We can do this whilst we are in the aim. So just to show you, I'm a right-handed shooter. I've got all of my controls here as I require them, but I can rack this back while I'm in position. It doesn't get in the way of my face, and actually comes down below the level of the cheek itself. So, you know, I can take a shot. Let's do this a couple of times. We know this is empty. Rack it. So we can be quite quick with this. Nice feature, like I said, the ability to stay in the aim and simply rack that back makes for a good bit of positional shooting for me. The only last thing to mention with this, I guess, is the trigger. I mentioned this earlier on very, very quickly. Is the fact that we've got a trigger there that is not straight and is not curved either. So we'd normally have a straight trigger there, or maybe a curve on that. The Patriot trigger has a little kind of feature at the front there that forces your finger to that particular spot there to pull that trigger. That's fine. I am still getting used to that, but I have only put 40 odd rounds through that, so it's, you know, it's early days yet, and I will get used to that. The trigger is a drop-in system. It's a one-piece trigger unit. It is £4 out of the box, and that cannot be amended. But I think, having shot this now for those 40 odd rounds, it's fine. You know, it has a nice crisp pull on it, breaks nicely, and it's single stage, so very, very nice. You know, overall the gun is excellent. I cannot fault the workmanship in this. You know, the whole silver look on this is nice. It's got a nice treating on it as well. As I did mention, nice barrel on it, match grade barrel, 14-inch handguard on there as well. Overall, really, really good. So that's the Patriot Ordnance Factory Heavy, or the 308 version of that. Really good gun. Once I've done a bit of reloading and we get into some accuracy with this, I'll come back and I'll do a little bit on how it's faring downrange, you know, out to maybe 300 meters, what we're getting in sort of group sizes on that. Load development's going to start this week, and again, as I said, I'm looking at sort of the 175 grain bullets for this. I think that's going to work really nice. Hope you enjoyed that. Again, keep an eye on the channel. I will be coming back to this particular gun and playing around with that again once we get some accuracy on range. Thanks very much for your time. I hope you enjoyed that, and hope to see you again soon.